So it's warriors on the red coin up against the assimilate. This will be interesting. I'm not that familiar with this matchup. And I maybe shouldn't be calling this assimilate because there really is not much assimilate. I guess there's Vigo, and you do use Henry to play the opponent's cards. It's a lot more mid-rangey, essentially. Yeah, Vigo is literally the only assimilate tag. Can be a bit of a struggle for proactivity here for Liu. There is the Diplo, but does just go straight for the Calvite. Interesting to go just for the Calvite when you did have access to Rune Mage and Henry in the opening hand. I find that very interesting. In response, Gussssta just sets up the Warlord. I mean, what else do you do? This will give all the raids the extra damage they so dearly crave as warriors. They crave that blood, crave that suffering, Blood Eagle, slashes and damage. Yeah, I am interested. Will we see Henry in round 1, or is it going to be saved for later on? Production helps not give a really nice sort of raid target. But I mean, there really isn't much that you'd care about killing here for Gussssta. There's not much engine, it really is just a lot of points now. I saw the Envo being mulliganed because you really want to save it for later on. You want to either use it to answer the tier or answer the big bronze that the tier ends up pulling back. Because yeah, there's no Vilgefortz in this deck, there's no Heat Wave, so you are a little bit more in a tough spot for your punish. You actually do see the Rune Mage coming up. Interesting pulls. Not amazing, I would think. It's not like you're going to be able to set up the Viper Adept. The Skellige, the Blood Eagle, and the Babylon should have more thinning than the Nilfgaard deck. Performance not amazing unless you want to set up a Fuchsia for later. Actually, that is why you do it. Never mind. Yeah, you want to have a bronze in the graveyard because then you're able to threaten a double cross onto the Fuchsia. Because that can give a lot of rain value. Also, the alternative is you can use your leader on tier and get like a super big warlord then. I mean, maybe not super big, but... And by round 3 this will be 5 power, your tier gets your 10-point card. It's actually not that amazing. It's alright. Whole series interesting here as well. Because, you know, raids... It's interesting. Primal Savary can only damage enemy units. Cutting Slash can damage an allied unit. K-Troll, you can get up to some interesting shenanigans using the order to kill off the Force Series as well. Actually, yeah, granted, Slash and I guess Champion's Charge are technically the only units which you can self-target. But yeah, I don't think the Force Series is going to be very good here, but even if you are able to use it for like maybe an alternative tactics like a Brewhurt, something that even if it's fine on Brewhurt because you get the 9 boost. Basically, you can play the series, force the opponent to do a self-kill and still get value out of that tactic is what I'm saying. So it's still not bad in the long run. I don't think you keep the Sangreal though to use inside her. Very early location coming out from Gussssta. This really signals wanting to contest this round 1 and potentially the round 2. I don't know if the Nilfgaard would prefer just taking long round 3 or not. But yeah. Getting the resilience down round 1 rather than round 2 means you're not going to have access to the clash in round 3. does force you into playing a bit harder into these earlier rounds. We do see the early full series. I quite like. You're stuck with the Sungrill in hand. Why not threaten big use out of it? This could be time to just use the water series. Maybe use it on the Rune Mage to kill her off. That still doesn't feel good. Yeah, like this is open decklist. You're scared of this Sangria. Decides to slow play, goes for the Primal Savagery. I think is fine. It's the problem is, like, once the Sungrill goes through, that's gonna be a 18-point swing or something. Yeah, I don't know how you're going to catch up to this at this point. Unless you're happy to commit tier. Unless you find committing tier to essentially just cancel the full series here, but I'm not convinced that's such a great play. Am I missing something, Metal? Stream is fine, right? That's just coffee for coffee's sake. Okay. Alright, yeah. This is Blood Eagle into the Vabion. Actually has the Bloodthirst 3, so able to go for the Champ's Charge. Nice setup with the leader. And not able to get into the lead. Is it going to be an aggressive use of the location to secure that lead? It will be. Goodbye to the Rune Mage. Getting use of that little 1 armor on the Warlord to get a bit of extra value on the clash. And once this bleeding goes through onto use Warlord, it will be a 6-point lead for Gussssta. Here comes the... This is what you're giving over. I mean, Terra Nova seems like a very good thing to give. It's not really a way to give Spine. I mean, it is just the Terra Nova, I think. The rest, or maybe the Rosa, actually. Rosa has 0 damage, so you could maybe give her over. I think the Artord is... And that's what you take. Some decent pulls. Hjalmar's never terrible. It is kind of 10-point... I guess only a 10-point body in this list. Hjalmar's potentially better. It is a 12 on deploy. Wild Boar of the Sea can be interesting as well in a longer round, and is Wild Boar taken? I'm not familiar with Liu's lineup. I guess the Construct Lippy might be just a red coin abuse deck. And I think Bounty can be pretty good from the blue coin, but maybe it's just first to go red coin where you're not going to lose on even as well. And also starting from blue coin, you will have additional blue coins. Maybe saving the Bounty for a later blue coin, just taking the double cross on prime. Wild Boar got buffed to 6. Yes. I remember in like early Homecoming, this was like one of the best cards in the game. But now it's a bit less good. But still, like even in this round, it'll be decent value. 6 body, 6 damage. There was no previously damaged unit, so it doesn't get that double value. But, you know, it's fine. This does give a pretty nice 10-point lead though, and if Gussssta wants to get ahead here, it will be a gold. Wide, be committed. And it looks like it is a Fukusha. Not enough time to get value out of all these turns of rain. But still, it's a 4-point Fukusha playing an 8-point bronze, and now it's still 2 points of rain damage each turn. Not too shabby. Yeah. I remember playing Boar in 2020 as well. It's yeah, I don't think I was even in pro rank at that point. Good times indeed. And yes, in response, here comes the leader for the Fukusha's a solid 11-point body. Tier can do a bit of damage. Tier actually could have been interesting. You could have, say, killed the Vabion and gotten a bit of resistance. Oh wait, was this on purpose? Okay, that was clean. That was clean. So, the serve was chosen with the leader. Melusine was a beast in deck. It was 4 Bloodthirst, that's 4 damage, and 3 damage for the Rodea, able to finish off the Melusine. And yeah, she dies off. The serve getting a nice 14 boost there. You can't do much better than that, I think. So, but Gussssta, you gotta be happy. You did force a decent amount out already, but I really don't know how you're gonna be able to keep contesting this round unless you commit your own serve here, which you could commit serve on a Raging Bear. It would be a I can't do maths. I think like a 19-point play. Still, with this point gap, I think it's a bit much. Well, it does go for it.
A word once given, we never break.
Sunojo, thank you for the follow. It's good to have you here. And actually, with this rain and a slash, it would be enough to get ahead. Problem is, you have this tier in hand you really don't want to use. I mean, you could use it for Resilience, but that's kind of sketchy. And yeah, you could have played Diplo and Hope for damage, but it's a lot safer to go for the Rodea. Also, I just want to note that because Melusina's deploy Veil, you couldn't have used the Rodea front row, because yes, the Nilfgaard strategy would do 3 damage, but the Melusine didn't have Veil because no deploy. The lock would have meant the infusion would have been useless for that serve. But I think the opposing serve for Gussssta does pay off, with this slash combining with the rain to take the round here, only requiring a bronze at the end, keeping this tier for later on. And it's weird looking at this deck now because all these Nilfgaard golds are sitting at the bottom. They're not going to be found. King Brown is the only actual gold still in deck. It's a very expensive round. Whereas I still think Nilfgaard has quite a bit remaining. I'm sure the bronze raids will be pretty decent. But yeah, problem is, let's say use your tier, sure. Chillard was found, and there's abduction. But what do? You just got high rolled by Henry, and I really don't see the counterplay. That's why I might have even preferred, with that in mind, you just go for an early tier in the round 1. Because now it's not helpful. It looks like we're starting with a tier. I mean, this is bad on account of playing into Shupe. It's bad and also for the Shupe transform. Not that I think you need to worry about that, but I mean, is this not just the easiest Shillard of your life? I guess it's not. I guess it's just a Shupe. Shupe mage to steal this? I mean, it is an 18-point swing. Essentially means that Gussssta's going to have a very tough time catching up in this round. Does give a chance to get the big Warlord through, so Shillard not really finding that value anymore. What are the alternative abduction targets? Vivian is not bad. Rosa, I think it's... Rian's could be interesting. Could sacrifice like a 4-power unit if an opportunity arose. Actually, I think Vivian on... Oh! Okay. Thought there would be another unit, but this is actually exactly what Gussssta needed to try to catch back. Or maybe not catch up, but, you know, actually have a chance here. I think the use of the leader there is essentially just for value. Spawning Deafening Sirens, it is negative points, so just use it now if you're not catching up. Use your lower value raided in hand and just, you know, get out of the round there. Actually, no, you can't pull Reins from the abduction, so it is either the Vivian or the Rosa, realistically. There is at least two aristocrats? I think 3 aristocrats, so it's 3 damage on the Rosa. Rosa wouldn't be very good. I think you have to go for the Vivian, which, with the last save, Vivian is very good against this leader. It will just kill the Patch Starter Fury, because if you read Vivian, set up units power to its provision cost, and this leader is a token at 0 provision, so it is just a kill. Yeah, with that in mind, I think this looks very difficult for Gussssta to win out here. Essentially 2 Tor Punishers. This Vigo can just pull out another Sergeant pretty consistently. Lydia will play for pretty decent value. There is no 4 provision Skellige Warrior in graveyards, you can't say go for War Clans, but I don't think you really need to, it's fine even slash.
You will not regret this.
Good find on the Vigo. Will this force the early Blood Eagle to get the kill? I think it does. Yep. I guess you just play an Invader in response. Damage is not looking great into the armor on all these Nausicas. I mean, this Berserker's also looking pretty sad. Berserker's only 8 points if all the damage does properly go through. But with this armor, it might only end up playing for 6 points. Oh my, finds the Modern Create to get extra use out of the armor. The Berserker does manage to avoid the remaining Nausicaa's armor, but it's not gonna be enough. It's just not. Oh, wait a sec. No, it's not. Oh no, there's not even any boost on the King Bran. The leader has to give 2 points over on the Deafening Sirens. That's a 17-point Vivian here. Actually, even more, because the abduction gives 2 boost. So, 19-point final turn. It's pretty much the most efficient Tor Punish I think you could have there. And that is a win with the Nilfgaard there for Liu. A very nice start. Look, there was a good amount of high rolling going on there. Although I do think that Liu played that very well with the kind of cards that they were given, especially in that round 1. I'm going to assume it was on purpose, doing this over into the Melusine and not just not realizing you had a beast in your deck. But using that into their day was really, really nice. Oh no, 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 no. Don't mean to. Okay. Whew. Okay. So that was game 1. Nilfgaard is through for again, we're already queuing straight into game 2. Players are not spending a lot of time worrying about queuing, it seems. I think we might see the Lippy coming out here. Nope, it is actually blood money from red coin against the blue coin monsters. Now, this will be interesting because, you know, Bounty likes playing against opponents with high base power units, and I don't know if that applies to another deck in the meta quite like this Fruits of Biscuit deck. Like, their general game plan is to just play high base power bronzes and then use sort of mid-value, mid-provision cost gold control tools. There's no Neomancy or Lady of the Lake to start with in hand, nor Alpha Werewolf as well, but it looks like this Curse Scroll will be used to try and remedy that problem. You see the Lady of the Lake chosen rather than the Neomancy directly. That should help get a little bit of additional tempo here in the round 1. Granted, I'm not really sure how well WM would be able to contest. They don't have any Witch Hunter executions. If they want to efficiently be collecting on these bounties, you either have to commit your Freak Show or your Scoundrel, or perhaps your Decree. Here we see the Alpha Werewolf coming through, and since the buffed up Werewolf is in play, both players will likely be fighting very hard over Last Say. However, Liam could be able to just deny the Predator targeting on the Werewolf, with stuff like Brute and the Ignatius going well above 12. Savvy Huckster plays for the most raw points here. 3 Urchins is the most consistent spender, but Sea Jackal nice if the round progresses. You see the 1 damage not going on to the Fiend, because if you were killing the Fiend it would likely be through this Freak Show in this round, and that would, I mean, there's no reason to take it off of an even number of power. You can go for the early Hysteria, a lower initial commitment, but it does set up nicely to get a huge collection if you do go for this Freak Show. And hey, that's an 8 power bounty unit. That's huge for your Ignatius and your Brute. I would heal by 8, and set the boost here to 8. A 14 point Brute just on deploy before you account for the profit. Quite scary. I already see the hand starting to be a bit awkward for Gussssta, playing the dead Incubus here. Only for 5 points plus 5 proc. Hey menu, yeah, it's just me for today. Rest of the gang is either not as ideal time zones or a bit busy with other things. And I maybe could have organized something else, but it was a bit late. So yeah, we do see the Freak Show coming down. See the nice sequencing, putting damage onto the other units because you would overprofit if you went straight to collect on the bounty Fiend. Does even get rid of an additional riders. A is salty, and I speak the devil, and they shall appear. Yeah, there's part of the rest of the game. Yeah, freak show, not long for this world. Getting answered by the enraged Ifrit. And compared to some of the other Syndicate lists we've seen, this is not a jackpot list, so it's not possible to boost the freak show with over profiting on the deploy. It is just at the effective 5 power when it counts that armor. So nice cleanup with that enraged Ifrit, and now this frenzied Dao can tutor 2 rock barrages at once. Nice way to answer Witch Hunter executions. And maybe only for this patch, because I have heard whispers of people wanting to buff this up to 5 power in the Balance Council, which I'm not sure I agree with. Reduce Hysteria collecting on a second bounty there. Interesting that the Incubus was damaged to 1 here rather than just 3 power. Maybe a bit of not enough forward thinking there, setting up the bigger stereo. But still not terrible. That pass, we actually see the Incubus coming down. Goes for the werewolf, because I think that was really the only thing you had enough to really do. Maybe the Incubus you had enough coins to kill. And spends just enough vitality on the Witch Hunter. Or the Savvy Huckster, who actually does have a Witch Hunter tag now. They're able to get out by the slimmest of options. So, in theory, could just go straight into a long round. Try to set up the engines and get away with that last save. Not a bad idea. Or you could go for the bleed as well, potentially. Trying to maybe shut down a bit of that Erendite value. Plus here is just a griffin being into the graveyard, set up for the Mamuna, or potentially that second Incubus still sitting in the deck. Hey, Crash Dragon, hope you're doing well. This is the crazy thing, right? Ignatius is already almost fully healed. This brute is at 8 boost. Oh gosh. I'll make this up and actually mulligans that Ignatius. You don't need it in hand. I think if you have the you have the Octavia here anyways. You may as well mulligan it, see what you find, and if you want it back, you can find it off of the Octavia anyways. Early Mamuna. The Mamuna itself isn't bad here. It has a low base power, most of that power is boost, which is what you want against the bounty. But you know, having a 9 power unit on board against bounty, that's not what you want. Screw here, not amazing. Fiend again, not good bounty. Lord Riptide, yeah, you want to do a big clash with him, but then it's a 10 power unit, or 10 base power unit that has been damaged and set up to collect. Yeah, this looks very, very rough here for the monsters. What is Incubus on? Can pull the Savvy Huckster. It's the only bronze in the graveyard here for them. In return, you can get another Fiend. It's not crazy. And yeah, you need to heatwave the candle here, otherwise it will be too easy for you to play around stuff like this Riptide, the rock barrages coming through from this. Now, what will be the answer of choice for this tunnel drill? Is it just gonna be the nice and clean Riptide? Is it gonna be the 2 rock barrages? This Neomancy will be finding the Erendite, which is currently up 10 damage. I think Riptide makes sense. Here comes the Octavia. Pulls back Ignatius. Confession Extractor. think we'll see going back into the deck. I mean, it's the only bronze in hand, it's the obvious choice. And the Decree, I mean, I'd expect Decree to be pulling a Witch Hunter Executioner. But at the same time, you probably want to set a bounty up first. That likely comes in the form of either the Witch Finder or the Menge. There's actually a couple options here for Gussssta, and I think you need to double down on one of the options. Either A, you aim to shut down the bounty givers, or B, you shut down the bounty collectors. If you're going for plan A, shutting down the bounty givers, that means you focus a lot of your control into killing this Caleb Menge. Alternatively, you could just move him with the Frenzied Doubt. That's quite neat little interaction. He is melee locked. And also killing the Witchfinder. Alternatively, you shut down the bounty spenders and collectors, which at this point is really just the Witch Hunter Executioner from this Royal Decree. There is still this blood money, which is a lot of damage. And with the bounty on the Griffin, that's looking like a very good blood money target. Yeah, there's only the Executioner's actual spender coming through from the Decree, so it should be quite easy to shut that down. But then again, the Executioner's not really that great if there isn't the bounty givers either. But you do see the Witch Finder killed off with the Escort there. I prefer to keep the Erendite as a later answer, so it's able to keep getting the boost as the round progresses. Interesting that we go for the Witch Executioner here, but it is kind of heads up because with the Octavia can get it quite tall here. Now the question is, how well has Liu encountered around the Erendite? There is no more sort of straight up tall punish. Could have gone even harder on the boost here, though potentially you're a bit worried of whether you'll have enough coins for like your Menge and your Grade and Tribute. Yeah, you definitely could have buffed the Executioner above this 13 damage Erendite, but then maybe you don't have enough coins to say, yeah, I guess the Grade and Tribute is considered a bit too important. I mean, the Brute is still giving you profit 4, you have a bunch of crowns on board. I think it was maybe, what, 4 more spending to get the Executioner to safety? I would have thought it's worth it. Because then now, you could have had a nice sort of collection onto this Riptide. Even if you needed to use this 1 damage on the blood money to get you over the edge. But maybe it's just this is going to be the grade in, and then that's it for bounty shenanigans, I think. It's going to be bounties coming through, getting collected, and then we'll see how well the rest of the stuff is able to work together. And I'm a bit interested because the Griffin was killed. You could bring the Griffin back here with the Incubus here for Gussssta. That would require giving Execution over to Liu. But if you're not expecting any more bounty givers, which I don't think you should be basically pinning Liu to be having Heatwave, Bruce, and Ignatius. Yeah. Be pretty good. Yeah, with the Grade and destroying the unit, Liu decides this is the turn to spend a lot on the Octavia Hail. And yeah, huge Grade and 16 points, cashing on the 10 power Lord Riptide. I like maybe prefer to just toss the Riptide away round 1 to avoid that kind of interaction. Super big Brute. I mean, like, look, I guess you're saving this Heatwave for the Werewolf, but as I briefly mentioned in the round 1, it is very possible for Bounty to just not play many units and put the taller units out of range of the Werewolf Predator targeting. Right now it's only targeting a 4, which is not great. It's not even enough to catch up. This was just rough. This is just super duper rough. Bounty, I think, is one of the harder decks to play, but Liam has put on an absolute masterclass here to take the win from Red Coin and go up 2-0 in series. Yeah, it is not close. And maybe the Octavia was more of an important thing to kill than some of the other stuff. Unironically, Return to Executioner, I don't know if it was that important to kill. Maybe the Octavia should have been dealt with instead. Because with the Menge gone, there's not any more bounty givers. The Executioner doesn't matter that much. And at that point, if you're kind of predicting the hand to be mostly the Heatwave, the Brute, the Ignatius, there's no bronzes giving the bounty. You don't care if the Return to Executioner is still alive. It's just a 1-for-1 spender, which is not nearly as good as the Octavia, who is a 3-for-2 spender. So quite a bit more efficient. 50% more efficient, in fact. Alright. So, you might be asking, well, Gussssta is now in the hot seat, needs to reverse sweep. What do you need to reverse sweep against? It is Constructs Lippy. Constructs Lippy. I have no idea how this is gonna go. I'm looking forward to this. This is might be a bit of a casino draws. Lippy tends to be a bit of a draw dependent deck. You really want to get all your golds in the round 1. And it will be played twice from blue coin and once from red coin if we do go all the way to this game 5. It will have to start up against the Renfrey Skellige. This is the more standard list rather than the one that Liam took itself. Living Armor is nice to start off with. I don't believe there's much in terms of armor synergies. It's just sort of the construct which doesn't gain anything by having other constructs played beforehand. Yeah, I think I'd agree. It was rough passing that early in the round 1. I mean, I know you had like a gold heavy hand, it was getting a bit awkward. I think you had to try and force a bit more out, especially with how slowly Liam played that round previously. Anyways, we should probably talk about the current game. And yes, this is very nice. You have the Living Armor, Frenzied Dow, and the Enraged Ifrit. I mean, the Frenzied Dow is already set up to play both these Rock Barrages sitting at the bottom of the deck. Only the Primordial Dow missing, as well as the Colossal Ifrit, which you'll find playing those a bit later on as well, I think. There's the early Frenzied Dow. The Neomancy, what are we going to put to the bottom of the deck? It might be a Seagull or potentially Brook for Warrior. I think a Seagull is a bit more likely. With the armor on like the Rowdy Dwarf, Seagull can struggle, I think, to find sort of 3 damage targets to properly kill. Also does have a bit of synergy when you put it in the graveyard with your Lippy later on. Decides to keep it, says 2 Rock Warriors is a bit too much for me. So it's just looking at this point gap already, it's a 21 point difference. And that's when the stratagem of choice was a Cursed Scroll. So gonna need to do a pretty big commitment. Probably seeing the Zoltan, Killer Vandal, stuff like that coming out. The Gussssta actually contesting. And the nice thing about playing this Drummond Berserker here is when it transforms against Doomed, that's not going to go back in the deck later on for the Lippy to potentially sort of draw into in that round 3. Hey Pimp My Ship, hope you're doing well. Reveling too. Yeah, with this Woman Chariot potentially sticking, the Zoltan could be a bit of a better temper play later on. That in mind, are we going to see a high roll? No. I do see the damage coming through, but not a high roll. And yeah, you are incentivized to just play all your golds round 1 here, because you want to sort of have your Lippy playable round 2. It's a tempering being played here on the Philavandrel, aiming to get a bit of that armor synergy with that Berserker. Maybe freeing up the chariot to give armor to some other units. This Reckless Fire Leader does go through armor, but I think it's still a bit hard pressed to maybe kill Zoltan all by itself. If you want to kill the chariot, you could just use your Brockvar Warrior. Alternatively, could just damage the chariot down to 1 power and then finish off the following turn with the Seagull, which I think would be a nice little play. And it looks like that might be the sequencing Liu has in mind here. And it is actually the first bronze plate that will go into Liu M's graveyard. I guess technically Rock Barrages, but I don't really count them. You want those to go back into your deck later. It's basically like part of this gold, Frenzied Dow. Volunteers summoning the fellow volunteers here. The dwarf is controlled by Gussssta. The point gap is being lessened. Let's get ahead. This is where it starts to look a little bit sketchier for you. You could use the Neomancy, maybe tutor like a Colossal Ifrit even quite early. Just wipe this front row clean. That would be a quite powerful play. And the thing is, since this deck doesn't have any artifacts, it's not really possible to split the units up and play around this Colossal Ifrit very easily. Seagulls can be a little problematic, but I think you need to play very carefully and make sure when you play the Seagulls, you pull them back out of the graveyard so you don't get the extra copies on deck. Yeah, and yeah, as Crash says, they get doomed when they come back, so like here you can kill the chariot straight away. Nice 8 point. I think, oh sorry, maybe 7 points. Right now it'll be sort of 8 if you include the extra Seagull later on. Yeah, the extra copies would get doomed. Okay, I actually did somewhat predict the Colossal Ifrit. Getting a little bit scared. Does go for the extra construct. And this does put a bit of a timer on the round here. Because if Gussssta does not deal with the Colossal Ifrit, then yeah, in 3 turns you're probably going to be forced to pass. Not bad choices. Blessing of Kindness can be good with how early on in the game it is. Temperance is a nice immediate boost as well. Even a Blessing of Patience would be good if you lead us straight away here. It is actually just set to 10. Fighting. I want just one big play all at once. But the problem there is that the Colossal Ifrit did end up killing the 1-power chariots. Now these Seagulls are looking a little bit less great. Could just play a Vial. This is the last turn to play Vial to get maximum value out of its vitality. Decree is not looking super hot, but could just maybe play your final construct if you really want to. Yeah. Zoltan coming down. Look, it's almost able to kill off the Colossal Ifrit, but it's quite difficult to hit even such a big target with that random damage. While nicely used to protect. Look, it's still vulnerable to a lock, but lock would give a pass over to you. Get out.
Mankind is a virus, a plague.
Oh no, I forgot the Zoltan pick. It's a little short. Okay, decree coming out. Might be the 13 temper from this primordial Tao. And now Gussssta has to do a little bit of hand reading. Has to think, do I want to just get ahead here? Do I think this last card is Lippy? Or am I happy to just use the scroll right now? Wait a second. Oh, okay, no. I thought this was used in the following turn. No. I think this leader makes a lot of sense. I think it was not necessary, but you probably don't want to tie because then you're Lippy. You're not able to get a round 3 where you're able to sort of draw back into your constructs that you played in this early round 1. Oh, wait. Ooh, it's actually a tie card down. Scroll not enough to do it, which isn't necessarily the end of the world. This means this Lippy is not great because the Neomancy got banished. So the Lippy puts the constructs back in deck, and yeah, it was because it hit a shield. Yeah, I was confused for a sec. I was like, wait. I thought scroll was enough. Wait, it happened so quick because it was the very end of the round. Instant pass. But look, I don't think it's the worst. Actually draws the Iris. That enables kind of whatever you like. Curse of Sloth can be used to find additional gold. This run-free leader can play for a lot of points. You need to, I think, kind of deal with this funeral boat though. Yeah, look at this hand for Liam. It's not good. The Lippy, sure, it'll get Nilfgaard out, put Roach in the graveyard, but yeah, not that hot otherwise. See the Oak being drawn. Iris, likely getting that discard. And look, I wonder if you start Funeral Boat or if you go for, say, a Berserker. Yeah, the random shield ping might actually, despite you might think it a low roll, it could be kind of a really good situation here for Gussssta. Yeah, I mean, if you see the Funeral Boat, it'll be problematic to lead with the Funeral Boat here, because the Berserker, with this leader, like Berserker into either a Skirmisher or even just a Cyprian Wily would cleanly answer that Funeral Boat. Instead, we see the Dormant Berserker. I think... I believe Liam has double last say due to them getting the tie card up while starting from blue coin. You just play the Funeral Boat second last, I believe, and it should be a fine value. See the chariot coming down. This can thread a bit of armor to play around that Funeral Boat. A few more bodies for this Great Oak. Currently a 12-point lead. Oak will be playing for 14 points, kills off the scroll, we get a little bit of extra armor. And yeah, this Funeral Boat not looking particularly hot. It's quite a bit of armor it's going to potentially hit. It will get 7 random pings here when the Lippy comes through. And it will be short by 8 points. So it's not going to be a 3-0, not a clean sweep. Reverse sweep might very well just be underway with a very interesting game here against the Lippy Constructs. And congrats to Gussssta. Puts their first point onto the board. It's always nice when you are able to ensure a series isn't going to win by the 3-0. It's always good to have a proper series on your hands. I think Nick is still better than Roach. I could see that. Roach is a bit easier to get out and it has slightly higher power. But Yeah, ultimately it is cheaper and you can put those provisions to better use elsewhere. Okay. So, well, now Gussssta has returned to the two decks they did lose with previously in this series, namely the Warriors and the Monsters. Warriors could be a little rough. Actually, I think Warriors are going to have a very hard time. They have not much toll punish. Sorry, not much graveyard punish. They have a toll punish. I guess doesn't matter too much. But could be a bit of a rough time against the sort of tallish point slam provided by the constructs right now. We do see the monsters from blue coin. I think this makes sense. In an Erendite mirror, I'd much rather be the deck on blue coin going first. Now, this is a bit of a unique situation for this Eskel Pathfinder to be in. Because Blue mainly plays constructs, right? But you're obviously running your own constructs here as Gussssta, which means you can kill a ship. Actually, I think ship might be the only thing, because these beasts, you have your own beasts. Okay, you could kill Lippy or a human, but that's not very good. Yeah, you could either kill a berserker or a funeral bird. I think this Eskel just kills a funeral bird. Is interesting. Early decree onto living armor with a roach tempo able to get ahead. Make that Erendite tick go through for the UM. But the leader combined with the off-wave is also just enough for Gussssta to get ahead, and their Erendite goes up to 2 damage. Roach is nice enough to split the rows, makes it a bit harder for this fiend to find value on Gussta's side of the board. It's interesting to see the decree not go for that Frenzied Dow, but we do see this Neomancy being used on the Frenzied Dow instead here. There you go, there's the 2 rock brushes being used up. Yeah, of course, yeah, like, I mean, look, I know this deck does play context to start with, but yeah, it's just rough. This looks like the Cursed Scroll, probably putting the, okay, Erendite at the bottom of deck. It's still kind of fine because the Lady Lake is in the deck. That's yes, the Erendite is at bottom, but this is sort of the Erendite anyways. And by playing your Enraged Ifrit here, you'd be able to thin out a bit with the Frenzied Dow too. I note the Enraged Ifrit itself wouldn't be enough to get ahead here, but you're setting up your higher tempo play with the Frenzied Dow, playing for 13 points the following turn. Maybe clear up the board a little bit and give your Fiend a potentially potential to play for 8 points still. Wait, oh, there is a Wyvern Scale Shield. That's interesting. I guess it's just additional mulligan fodder. Pretty good Immortal Dow there, 11 points already. And that shield protects it nicely from this Lord Reptide. That's actually the Heat Wave here. That's not going to be coming back later on. Heat Wave sort of acts as a premature graveyard punish. But yeah, not enough to get ahead here for Gussssta, so I think the UM was able to get ahead each turn. Yeah, each turn able to get ahead. So their Erendite is going to be at 4 points by the end of this turn, whereas Gussssta is only at 2 damage.
A word once given, we never break.
And Psychonaut, thank you for the follow. You actually do see the early funeral boat here. I don't think it has much synergy. Actually, never mind, it has synergy with the seagulls, of course. So it doubles down on the damage of the seagulls, but yeah, it's not long for this world. Getting answered by this enraged Ifrit. Now the frenzied Dao is able to choose the multiple rocks. Seagull. I'm not sure how a seagull is able to beat a griffin in a fight, but secures that death blow, brings back the doomed seagulls. Yeah, 6 power fiend, not amazing, especially when you might be looking to summon it back to the board later on in rounds. Yeah, that's the only 4 prob unit played, and I don't think there's really a 5 prob unit in this deck. Yeah, the incubuses aren't going to find a lot of value with the griffins. But look, seagull is a good incubus target, so it balances out a little bit. And here's where it gets a little interesting. Could do a squirrel to eat up this griffin. Actually could be a really nice play, makes the game a lot more awkward here for Gussssta. It would be slow though, and not help you get ahead. Alternatively, this could be the kind of time to threaten the Colossal Ifrit. Not bad value onto the front row here, and does sort of force out an answer, and it is protected from the Lord Reptide. Although if you're happy to sort of go all the way in this round, it's fine to go for a Seagull, and also use a leader charge to get ahead. So not only do you threaten that win on even, but you also are able to build up your Erendite even more. Yeah, might be special super seagulls here. We will see what gets barraged with these rocks. It is just all going to the living armor. Yeah, good luck maintaining armor when rocks are just raining down all over you. I don't know if it's living armor anymore. More like a half-dead armor. I'm sorry. Okay. 10-point lead is certainly doable if you decide to commit a construct here. But yeah, the bronze or the vial here, not going to add cut. Look, if you want to play the scroll, I think you'd need to play the vial first to get enough time for 3 vitality ticks to go through to actually take the round with the scroll next. And here's where it feels a little bad using the leader earlier, because it makes the Colossal Ifrit a bit less value, because it kind of doubles up on some of that damage. But at least you are able to get the seagulls out here. Second set of seagulls flocking to the board. Very quick answer with the Lord Reptide. I think that was kind of preempted. Putting the living armor down to 2 power means that that Colossal Ifrit wasn't safe at 5 power. And if Liu tried to delay it to protect it, well, it wouldn't have a chance to pull down to 3 to cycle through and the order to be used again. Should I open a pack of Tin Tams or Wagon Wheels? I mean, a Wagon Wheel is good, but I'm a sucker for Tin Tams. I would go for the Tin Tams. Again, we see a late vial, not enough time for the vitality to fully tick through with the turns remaining in the round, but an additional leader used by Liu to get ahead. The other problem with vitality is it doesn't get any value if the unit dies. The Erendite was only at 6 power, but that was enough to kill the Seagull. Maybe the Skellige Seagulls aren't that super strong. Yeah. And yeah, the final construct does come down. No more constructs in deck. That was literally the 5th and final construct to use deck. Raged. Ifrit through. Ahead by 4. I mean, we know that the werewolf would be enough. There actually is no total punish being run in this deck. Committing the werewolf here should be enough to just win the round against anything that Liam has in hand. I guess the question is, do you take this here? I don't think there was any way to draw that. It would have been funny to see another draw. Yeah, that is the round win going through. I think you can just dry pass. You either force the awkward Lippy coming out in the round 2, where they don't get as much value with the Roach and the Morkvarg coming back, or you sort of bleed and try and 2-0. I'm not convinced a 2-0 was that doable, especially with the not super great graveyard setup with the 6-power Fiend and Griffin. Okay, does find the Arendite. No Lippy in hand though would mean the Neomancy would have to be used on a boss here potentially. What is the decision? I would say passing is probably the safer play. But never mind that. Decides to play into this, I guess, with the Moonrunner. Maybe hoping that it's going to be a not great hand with just Lippy and some bronzes and able to potentially threaten the 2-0. I don't think you'd really be able to win the round here with the 2-0. And I'm granted there's not much left in decks, so maybe 2-0 is the only possible choice. And yeah, actually looking at the deck here for Gussssta, I mean this is not hot. I think you do need to just push for the 2-0. Because yeah, this Gigascorp is not hot. From Berserker, not amazing. I think it actually is a 2-0 here. You saw the Arendite, I mean, hailing in comparison to the Moonrunner. However, with this sequencing, this was done quite well, I think, by Liam, not giving a target for the Arendite, playing on interactive. Big play actually means the Arendite is not playable here. I think it's a narrow win in the round here by Lippy, yes. Yeah, you do see the shield immediately going to Lippy. Look, if this was like literally any other card in the deck, except for Lippy, this would have been just a 2-0 right here and now. But unfortunately, it's not the case, and going to have to contend with these super powered constructs if they are drawn back into. But Rock Barrage, and Gigascorp is not what you want to see here for Liam. And a Seagull, only one construct is going to be found with this decree. So, yeah, not amazing. And it being a card down, having to play first in this round, it's not looking like Colossal Ifrit is going to be that amazing unless we've seen early Incubus. And the I think the Primordial Dow got banished by the Heat Wave from memory. So you can't even go for that to just have one super tall small unit. The damage construct's not looking amazing here either, I'd say. Actually, the immediate decree. Is it just for living armor? It is. That's not what you want. The Liam forced the second Arendite, had their second Arendite forced out quite early here by Gussssta, which I think was quite nice. Because now in the round 3, Gussssta gets to play a bit of a bigger Arendite here. And I think they'll get a lot more value.
You're one sexy witch and I'm here to please.
I mean, these Incubuses, I mean, they're not great. They're really not great. It's gonna be enough here. Seagull can't even get a kill. Yeah. Rock Barrage, Seagull in this short round. I don't think you could have gotten much worse than that. This is a very dominant win actually in the end for the monsters. I said there wasn't much left. But it is still enough. When you have card advantage and a bigger Arendite, that'll do the trick. So, we tie the series up 2-2. Lippy's not been having a very great time. Yeah, I thought that was very well played there by Gussssta. I sometimes in certain matches I get super scared of pushing in around 2. But it was just prey on the weak bronzes, not give a chance to get additional mulligans. Granted, I don't know if it would have mattered. I think with those draws, Liam still would have been screwed going into the round 3. However, Gigascorp was one of those draws. It wouldn't have been a draw if we didn't see those bleed go through. So yeah. The bleed putting the additional specials in the graveyard did help a bit. It's making the Lippy worse later on. Okay, so we are now to game 5. Gussssta would really want to win this, tie us up in the overall game here against Team China, help Team Brazil end today on an, I guess, even standing within the game. I'm not sure what the overall standings are. I'll have to check and get back to you on that. It's actually Team Brazil is at the bottom of their group after losing to Team France last week. In the first week, not really last week. Team China did tie against Team UK though. So yeah, I think Team Brazil desperately would need to tie this up to have a chance at still making it out of the group. Team China would love a win in the series and a win in the overall game to enable them to sort of be in the top half going into week 3. Yeah, it's still definitely possible for Team Brazil to make it out of the group if Team France wins both of their remaining games, and we will see how Team France goes in the following series against Team UK. That'll be a bit of fun cross-channel rivalry. Make sure you stay tuned for that. It will be over on Salty's channel in, not too long now. Wouldn't be surprised if players taking a break, getting a drink before the final game of the series. It will of course be Liam stuck on these Lippy Constructs for this last game. And it will be the Skellige coming back here, the Renfree Skellige, which has a decent amount of point slam. We should see how they match up. Now, I think there is a Squirrel in deck, but no Heat Wave. Oh, sorry, it was Warriors. The Skellige already got the win. Never mind. This will be a bit harder, I think. Yeah, no Heat Wave. No Squirrel. Not able to sort of shut down the Lippy as directly. I guess it doesn't matter if you have the Roach since you have this Cursed Scroll to fix the hand. Or you do need that to put the Rock Barrage back here. Anyways, not a great hand here for Liu M. You have your Living Armor, and then access to 2 other constructs with the Scroll and the Decree. As for Gussssta, I'm blind, but I don't see a single Warlord. Nor do I see Vabion or Blood Eagle. Both players drawing not great, but I'd say Gussssta drawing even worse here. What would you lead here? I mean, sure, Uncrate Warrior. Yeah, like, as soon as you don't lead Warlord, it should be pretty clear there's no Warlord in hand, 1. And 2, maybe even not even a Vabion or Blood Eagle, because surely you'd just go for that, right? I think the alternative might be just you pass at 7 here for Gussssta, and you try to not kill the constructs in the round 2. Because then you don't give an opportunity for them to get shuffled back with the Lippy going into the round 3. You're making the round 3 a bit harder. You either force them to Lippy round 3 to get the value then their tutoring will be a bit less good, or they do it early in the round 2. But that's kind of thinking a bit ahead. I don't see Gussssta really being able to contest this round very much. Early funeral boat, but yeah, I don't think. Well, to be fair, you can't even kill it right now. Primal Savagery is stuck at 2 damage. No warlords. Yeah. It's interesting, but I think Liam is kind of sensing this, not committing any of their own constructs, saving those stronger plays for later on. And it's also sort of better draw-wise to not burn your tutors right now. Because maybe you would have tutored a construct which was higher up in your deck and then you don't get to draw the constructs lower down. Whereas playing like this, you're perhaps able to save the tutor for the construct which would have been way lower down. Not sure which SK you mean, Mato. Yeah, you can always slam the Sove leader. It's not bad, and arguably if you do it early enough, it might not give the opponent a chance to catch up in 1. You can secure a long round. Not a bad idea, potentially. Either a long round or card advantage. Alright, so actually, yeah, just the pass at 7, which I think is... Yeah, there's no toll punish in this list, this constructs list. Which means that a tier can set up... You don't even need to play it last say, really. Tier can be quite scary with that in mind. Look, unless you've played enough constructs to get your enraged Ifrit up to 9 damage, tier can stick, but there should surely be enough constructs for this enraged Ifrit to go up to that 9 damage. We found 1 warlord, but Babjorn and Blind Eagle are still MIA. Yeah. Either missing in action or missing out on all the action. We do have Funeral Boat in hand again. I don't think it's going to be sticking in this round now. Lippy is looking... It's alright right now. But yeah, in Neomancy, going to have to choose between either Arendite, Colossal Ifrit, or Primordial Dow this round. Only gaining access to one of them. Still quite a bronze heavy hand for the quite a few Brockval warriors. Leading with the Funeral Boat. Will it be an immediate answer here with the Gutting Slash? Yes, it will. I mean, this is really the priority removal target. Maybe the only thing more important to remove would be, say, a Colossal Ifrit in this kind of deck. But back to square one. A card was played, a card was removed. Now, Skrull is not looking so hot, since you're only really banishing a 4 provision warrior, but maybe you can make the Warrior Clans a little bit more awkward. Otherwise, proactivity is certainly a bit of a struggle. I wonder when this Lippy is going to be played. Do you go for it this round or do you save it for the round 3? I don't think you go for it this round. Your remaining deck is pretty good. I think you'd rather sort of save it for the round 3 and just use your Neomancy to gain access to the additional, say, Frenzy Dow. I think that is probably the better take. This could either set up the location or the Warlord. I'm not sure what the better ordering is. Just trying to maximize your kind of setup and carryover because you haven't really done that yet. Finally, Warlord number 1 is on the board. But there's sort of only 2 raids in hand to benefit from that. And remember, this tier is only at phase 1 right now because Gussssta's not won a round yet. It's the Marauder to potentially pop the shield, but it all misses this Berserker. I think is perhaps what you want. I think the Marauder could have put 2 pings on the Berserker and that would have lost a bit of value going below the Berserk trigger number. You actually do see the Lippy. Lost the lift for it not going to be played in this game. And Erendite is in the graveyard, but it'll be making a return for round 3. So, probably not the ping you wanted. It makes the Brockbar Warrior a bit more difficult to set up here. Yeah, this Berserker is starting to spread a bit of bloodthirst here for Gussssta. Keep in mind there is a little half-rue in deck. If you're able to get like 2 bits of bloodthirst, then with a full leader you would be able to serve with the half-rue. Here comes the Gigascorp. Do you just kill the Berserker here? It is kind of 6 points anyways, and doing it like this does mean you're less likely to help, well, give the enemy a chance to continue setting up their bloodthirst. Although with that said, War Clans into a Brockvar Warrior could be a very nice way to get additional bloodthirst, and now you don't even need a full leader if you want to serve into the half-rue. There's 4 bloodthirst on board, 4. So you only need 2 more for the half-rue, or even just serve straight off the raging. Or the what's his name? Oh, it's a Savage Bear, right? Savage. And yeah, and like this is the thing. Because M's board is more developed, and the Brockvar Warriors for Gussssta just gets a whole lot more value. 1 more damage itself, and also coming off the War of Clans, it does more in that sense. Let's see. Yeah, it could very well just be a serve coming down soon just to get ahead. Wonder how much Gussssta cares about getting the bloodthirst through on this Champion's Charge. I'm a bit surprised by that. I would have thought you just would have liked to use a couple charges now because you kind of get additional value back on them with the serve. I don't think you needed the charges for later. I don't think you gain much from them unless like you need what promise to have your target. You should have enough. Serve still though with just the Savage Bear enough to get ahead. This is where it starts to get a bit hard to keep contesting here. The Squirrel doesn't do much. Brockvar Warrior, I mean again, really not looking good since the serve is immune. Enraged Ifrit, it does 8 damage, but you need something to deal damage too. Apparently you may as well just go pound dirt. Hey Jairu. Hello to you as well. It is just a slow squirrel coming down. I think it banished one of the invaders. Yeah, I think one of them was in graveyard there. But it does trade down 3 points to the other invader. A bit of a lead gained by Gussssta. However, now this Brockvar Warrior isn't as bad, or even this Enraged Ifrit actually has a viable target. But you might want to save the Enraged Ifrit to deal with the tier in the round 3. I don't know, you could, yeah, just toss out the Brockvar Warrior. In response, you might get the Champion's Charge or the King. I think no matter kind of how this goes, it looks like Gussssta will have card advantage as well as additional scenario carryover going into this round 3. The draws are looking potentially very good here for you, however. I think maybe actually, yeah, wanting to keep the Champion's Charge Bloodthirst available to be used on Living later on. Actually could be Enraged Ifrit if you want to take it. Kill off the King Bran. But with this kind of point gap, actually, being honest, Champ's Charge would deal what, 7 damage? It would end up being a tie if the Champ's Charge trades for the Enraged Ifrit, I believe. And also there's leaders. Liam could very easily just toss some leaders. Yeah, I think you go in on this. So something's got to give them. It could be in the form of scenario carryover. Double leader would actually, yeah, make this location quite awkward. Might have been a bit too much of a rope. Okay. That in mind, look, there is an argument to just go for tier, kill the roach, you get resilience. You get 9 additional points on the board to start with next round. I guess the question is then, is that worth more than potentially playing an invader plus 8 points? And some others. Actually, I think it is. I think it would have been. Because you would have maintained the KO Trolled order. I think you just go for the tier resilience. Yeah, and now you go for the 2 leaders. But I mean, if you had done that earlier, you would have had. This is where it comes back to bite Gussssta, right? This late decision, like if I guess they wanted to keep the Champ's Charge. Once the Champ's Charge is gone, then I don't need the extra charges to get additional Bloodthirst. It's just negative points. Okay. Like I see it, I understand why, but if you had done that, if you had just said this isn't gonna go super tall, I don't need the Bloodthirst round 3. I'm fine to just use it on the Sove, maximize my Sove value. The half-root comes through, and then you're looking pretty happy. However, Frenzied Dow is found, and a Nero into Living Armor is found. This is potentially quite good here. For you, you do see the tier. I said you need to save the Enraged Ifrit to answer the tier. Well, with this leader opening tier onto an empty board, there's no way that is going to live. But this is going to be interesting. Keep in mind that Gussssta has last say, has effectively an 11-point leader and a 16-point invader to play at the end. And by the way, Guiding Slash is at 5 damage, Savagery at 3 damage. They yeah, have not managed to get that much value. There's no delay here now. Do you use a leader to finish this off? You do. Okay. So now there's a question. You know, okay, you'd expect there to be an Erendite. Okay, doesn't even think about it. Okay. I was gonna say, you could have just gone to brick the Erendite. And I guess the question there is the War of Clans plus a Vabiorn worth more or less than an Erendite? And Drum Berserker is a pretty good Erendite target. But you played, what, like a sort of 5 points plus 3 damage, I think that was actually, that's not sure. Yeah, so that was 8, 10, in a raid, 5, it's like 15 points. How big was that Erendite? We don't get to see. Yeah, I think it about balances out here anyways. Well, although not really, because there's this leader anyways. You'd be giving the leader sort of. I think regardless here, you don't need to worry too much. I don't think, yeah, Liam has the points here. The last save with the maintained leader and the tier boosted unit should be just more than enough. And it's not even the Reckless Fly, not able to board wipe here either. Living Armor puts Liu's point total up to 19, but even just the Invader would have been enough. And the Arnyork makes it just a comfortable win here in the Skellige Mirror. Finishes us off with a 3-2 victory for Gussssta. A reverse sweep is